there we go. Pretty clean, pretty fast. So, our next players are going to be Flisk, playing as the orange Terran on Polaris Rhapsody at the bottom right location. And Terran, okay, Flisk. I remember him from somewhere. I can't seem to wrap around my mind where I saw him last time, but I've definitely seen him before, so it's gonna be interesting to see how he plays. And we have his opponent, DragOn Pain, as the purple Protoss at the top left location. And this is Polaris Rhapsody. Let's just make sure we get this like that. So, Polaris Rhapsody, PvT, okay. Well, here's the thing though. This location is not especially difficult to siege or especially easy to siege. So relatively open, nothing particularly crazy about that. Now we have a mineral only without any other gas. This hurts in other matchups, and in PvT not as much, because usually Zealots and Vultures are kind of cheap in gas, like 0. And then the double gases are definitely cool, especially for the Terran, to get the upgrades going as well as a heavy mech style. However, it is quite far away, so you do need some kind of defensive setup that will work relatively well for it. Now I'm also going to just slower a little bit the displacement. It's still too fast. Alright, like that. Yeah, okay. So we're going to be seeing how they actually decide to play it. Now, so let's start from the get-go. So we got 1 gate gas, nothing crazy from the Protoss side, and from the Terran side, at the same time more or less, gas and barracks. So relatively standard, both of them. Now PvT, the first kind of question that you usually ask yourself, both players actually will have to ask themselves, is what kind of style do they want to play? Is it going to be a very aggressive style? Is it going to be a micro style? Is it going to involve some tech? Now relatively easy is to tell what both players are doing. So with some scouting, most of the time you get a very clear picture of what you're playing against. Because of that, until the Dragoon is out, whoa, we do see a Zealot coming out first from DragOn. I'm not sure this is the best idea, especially because the distance is quite far away, so the Zealot should not do too much damage. If it goes to the Terran main, it probably shouldn't be able to kill more than maybe 1 Marine. And even then, oh, we do see actually Flisk has stopped for a while making Marines. But even then, if you see the distance and how long it is for the Zealot to walk through, most likely the Zealot is not going to do any damage. We'll see about that though. I'm trying to get the speed of the displacement of the slower, but it doesn't seem to want to listen to me. Okay. Just trying to get so it doesn't like hiccup for you on the stream, guys. So 1 factory so far, and 1 SCV left on gas, so it looks like a fast expansion build. And we see some pylons being placed kind of strategically to see maybe drops. Okay, that's a good idea. But so far, range and Dragoon, so nothing more. We see 3 Marines. Okay, the Zealot is not going to test its luck. Kind of, it makes a lot of sense. If you are making a Zealot at the beginning, you might want to keep it for perhaps some mine clearing or something like that. Now we see the Dragoon trying to find this SCV. It seems the SCV is going to miss it. Sorry, the Dragoon is going to miss it. So the SCV should get back, probably in... I'm not sure it's going to get into the main. This Dragoon might intercept it. Let's see. Is it going to go down? No, it's just staying at the natural, so... It will, however, confirm that the natural is not started yet. Now we do see some minerals, and the probe is actually attacking the SCV. That's actually relatively smart, because it's not 100% certain that the probe was actually coming down to put down the Nexus. It's the most logical conclusion, but since it's blocked the SCV and didn't try to really rush down to put the Nexus, Flisk might get the wrong idea and think that it wasn't for the Nexus. But as we can see, he's taking his own expansion, so it's safe to say that he understands that this was for a Nexus. Okay, so the next point is probably going to be the robotics facility, and the robotics facility is going to be key, especially because for a long time now, DragOn is not going to be able to get any information on what Flisk is doing. As you can see, even the units that are kind of placed on the front are kind of going to deny the possibility of a good scouting unless a probe really lucky, like gets a really lucky scout. Now, it seems like Flisk doesn't really want to push out. Okay, well, it's a long map, as I said before. As from natural to natural, there's actually quite a long time. There's two bridges that are kind of annoying, so pushing with a small force is probably not the best idea. It kind of works both ways, right? Because even if Flisk would decide to attack, and then it turns out that he loses his units, his opponent still has to walk the same way, so he should be able to get some units to survive a counterattack. But I'm assuming that Flisk doesn't really want to take that chance. Now, we do see two more gateways after the robotics and probably the observatory now? Should be? Not seeing it right now. There it is. Okay, so observers. So far nothing, no tech, like just pure units, pure economy, and one nexus. We have to be really careful, like, what is the next step going to be? Oh, that's not really good. That's bad, that's bad, that's bad. Because it's going to scout mostly, actually it's going to scout everything. It doesn't get any kills, but it confirms 3 gateways rubble. Now, there is a chance that this would be as well reavers, and like somewhere like here would be the reaver support bay, but considering that there is an engineering bay and at the same time there is a distant position, we do see some turrets already coming down. So Flisk is setting himself to go for a very macro style, although he should really be remembering to, yeah, the gas is important, but getting also an armory. If you're going to be going for this kind of style, because he's adding factories one by one, which is not the cleanest build, but it's a little bit more, it's less fluid. You do take more time to set everything correctly. Your units are not building at the same time, so your cycles are not as easy to maintain. So remembering to go back to the factories is a little bit more tricky. There is the academy, and still no armory. I mean, I don't know really what's the point, because if this was something like a 6-fact push, then okay, makes sense. But this is very low on factories. There's enough minerals to get an armory and even start an upgrade, so you would have that opportunity. And on the flip side, we do see that the DragOn is also playing it relatively safe now. He's getting the Citadel of a Dune, and he's getting the Citadel before taking a third. Now this might have something to do with the fact that how positioned the thirds are, because this third, if actually DragOn wants to take it, there is a high ground here going down to this position, so it's a little bit easier for the Terran to try to make a push from this area. Maybe that's the reason. Oh, okay, so Vultures will intercept the probe, which I assume was going for this base. And I think the turret managed to kill an observer. Maybe? I think so, yeah. Maybe not, maybe it was just me hearing the turret from another game, I don't know. So let's see, we've got still 3 and another command center. Okay, so this seems to be like a relatively safe third, since it's mostly from 3 factories constantly producing. There's a 4th one. And okay, there's the armory. So we do have to keep an eye on the armory. And another turret down here manages to pick off an observer. That's actually relatively sloppy by DragOn, because there isn't anything really going on the map. And although that DragOn has been keeping up with his macro relatively well, even with 3 gateways, he's actually about 20 supply up, which is kind of the standard. He is at the same time getting the Arbiter tech, so it's kind of like from 2 base getting Arbiter tech, but at the same time taking a third, which this is going to be problematic, I think, for Flisk, because the way that Flisk is playing this, he wants to play this on a very turtle style. And this kind of style with a fast Arbiter actually works probably perfectly against this, because the Terran doesn't seem to have a good enough force to actually be pushing, which means that until the Arbiter is out, there doesn't seem to be any kind of threat. So until the Arbiter is out, there shouldn't be actually a push coming out. See, there's not that many tanks in here, so it seems like just a mineral only gonna be taken. Now, once the Terran does manage to take this base, This base is relatively easy to keep safe. The distance here isn't too big. At the same time, you do have from here to here the chances of a tank shooting. And... oh, barely with 1 life. Okay. So, we can definitely see that the real weak point should probably be down here. Like an arbiter flying in through the bottom. But we do have to remember that the arbiters do take quite a while to get out, as well as the energy build-up, plus the research. So the question is DragOn gonna get recall first, or is he going to go for stasis first? I think he didn't research anything else, anything yet, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. The +1 is coming up. We don't see a second armory so far. And still 5 factories. Well, let's see how that goes exactly, because so far, I mean, definitely the amount of production that is for DragOn is only 3 gateways, so it's relatively low, and we can see already his money is starting to build up from the 3rd. This is a very tight wall against vultures, so that's very nice. And another base is going to be taken. As even taking an expansion, you can see that his minerals are actually floating up. So yeah, okay, they are going to be going down the gateways. Now, I don't know if DragOn actually anticipated this, but there is a problem here. There's 3 gateways, and at the same time, there have been 5 factories at the same time for quite a while. So by the time that these gateways actually kick in, we can actually see, you see the supply gap is actually closing, and this is not like an extremely aggressively economical build from Flisk. He's actually playing this relatively safe, so if DragOn manages to do something really good with this Arbiter, then it's good. If not, this push will be quite scary. So the Arbiter basically, as most of the times, is going to be key in the engagements, but even if it isn't, and even if it actually lands good stasises, it might be tricky to get through this Terran army. Now, okay, there are the gateway explosions, so we've got 5, 8, 9 gateways. 9 gateways is good. That's okay. That's more than enough. 7 to 9 on this amount of bases is actually good enough. And Flisk is still going to be so defensive. I mean, I understand this, but it's so crazy dangerous to play like this, because you're giving a lot of options to the... oh, that's a nice interception. Oh, that's not going to be really nice for DragOn. He did lose a good amount of economy here. Now, he will rebuild that, of course, and I don't think he's actually going to be that sad about it, because, well, as long as the turn doesn't push, well, then you don't really want to be worried about losing a little bit of your economy. Alright, so another base is going to be taken down. Yep, and as you can see, relatively easy to defend this position. You can actually even wall this off. But now the real problem begins with the recalls. Is recall being researched? Yes, it's being researched. We would like to find the Arbiter. There is one. I think there's only one for now. So the energy is now fine for stasis. So even if the turn decides to push now, it's still going to be relatively tricky. And we can see that already the supplies have, again, gotten 20 up for DragOn because of those extra gateways. Mostly Zealots, probably. Let's see. Oh, High Templars. Now that's interesting. Storm? Storm is awesome, but very difficult to pull off. Okay, we've got some anti-recall defense. So far, pretty good. Yeah, it's actually starting to look really well on the recall defense. And we have a shuttle. It's kind of a bit late for the shuttle bombing thing, but yeah, well, every time that people say gateway explosion, what I imagine myself is a nuke dropping down here rather than, you know, more gateways, but yeah, people like to call it that. It's kind of, I think it's actually the official term for Brood War, when you see a Protoss playing with really few gateways and then suddenly 10 gateways appear and people always go, there's the gateway explosion. Well, yeah, that's one way to put it. Now, Dragons are getting actually upgraded, and actually, DragOn is already trying to be... I don't think this is, like, cheesy or, I don't know, bad-mannered. I think this is actually relatively smart, because we can see that the Terran has been trying to take and go up this way. So he's probably going even to take this base. So it's not a bad idea to actually claim this one for yourself. Okay, so the upgrades are something that I don't like too much for Flisk. If you're playing for this very passive style, you should have started the upgrades kind of like when your natural's up. Because by now, it's 15 minutes into the game. Where's the Arbiter? There's one here, and another one here. So this one is, if there's going to be one with a recall, it's going to be first this one. So let's keep an eye on that. Okay, so the first push is coming from the Terran at the 15-minute mark. So bear in mind, guys, nobody has moved until the 15-point mark. This is Spanish. This is a Spanish version of Brood War. Okay, so let the push. Oh no, 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 no! Oh no! Don't do it, Dragon! Don't do it! Oh my, that's not good. That's really bad. Oh, and even the stasis isn't really that good. Scan? Scan? Oh, that's a better stasis. Although, that's not the best way. You see, this is actually creating a choke point, and these... Oh, nice storms. That's... Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Those are good storms. Doesn't finish off the tanks, but those were some good storms. That being said, I still didn't like the move from this small choke. Look at the supplies. Flisk is actually up in supply, even with this battle going relatively bad for him. Ooh. And the 2-1 is actually finished at the same time, so this is actually not a bad timing for Flisk, even though it's a very late timing. Oh, and more units are going to go down for Dragon. This is not good at all. I think that going through this actually gave a lot of trouble for Dragon. Most likely he was not really set to actually greet the army from the Terran, and he was really running through a bad choke. Now, he does have the economy to rebuild an army really fast, so he does have a chance to still survive this, and we can see that the third is pretty much dried out, so losing this base isn't the worst thing in the world, as well as he does have this base to fall back on. But what you don't want to have is the Terran reach this point. If the Terran manages to reach this point, it's going to be problematic. And you can see that it's a pretty straight path. It's a down ramp, and there is not that much space. We can see that Dragon is already trying to anticipate that, but I don't know how he plans to actually stop this army from this angle. And we see a defensive matrix. Ooh. No. That's not. No. Ah, Dragon. What have you done? Yeah. I mean, this is going to go pretty poorly. Even with the storm drops, that will kill a good amount of units, actually, but... Actually, wait, with that stasis, it's going to break the push. It's equal in supply, but... Bear in mind that at this point, both players have enough economy that they can reproduce their units fast enough, so this is mostly who gets units faster, and that's going to be the Prados. We see a small group of units trying to break this position. Pretty smart, since most of the action is up here, trying to break this position slowly with just a few units to really limit Dragon to as few bases as possible. So it's not the worst idea from Flisk, but Dragon is still managing to keep up with the supply lead. So most likely this will eventually get cleaned up, especially since we can actually see that the Arbiters still have some energy. So just a stasis like on these 3 tanks, maybe? Yep, and now you can basically clean this part up. Alright, pretty good. So this is still continuing, but this push is losing traction every time. The more Arbiters that there are, and they're not dying because there is no anti-air here at all, the less powerful that this push is going to become. Now, even when 3-2 or 3-3 finishes, that's not really going to be that bad of a position because these Zealots are getting close to the tanks. Alright, so this is broken. This small attack has been broken by some extra Zealots sent down there. And with that, I think Flisk is falling apart. So, he had one strong push, he managed to do a lot of damage with the first push. And unfortunately, that's kind of it, because the main problem now is... Oh, so EMP did get researched at 19 minutes. A little bit too late. A little bit. Whoa, okay, an observer goes down, and... Actually, it's mostly zealots, so... If these vultures are microed correctly, they could somehow survive this, but they're not... Okay, they're not microed at all. They're not putting mines down. Yeah... You need to micro them. Against zealots, vultures are good when microed. When not microed, you can see that's not good enough. And at the same time, the base is being kind of attacked, ravaged, destroyed, obliterated, annihilated. Protost. But anyway, the problem here is that with this right now, you can see that Flisk is actually running... He's not dry, but he will have a very hard time to keep this base up since the reinforcements are relatively close. And we can see that DragOn is slowly trying to find a way to actually completely break this. So far it seems like... Oh, Flisk is actually going to keep this base for himself for now. That's still... I don't think it's good enough. I still think it's going to be problematic. Oh, wow, no. That was the only Arbiter with energy. Okay, oh, no, wait, it did manage to stasis an SCV and to tanks, and... Oh my, that's bad, that's bad. DragOn is losing way too many Arbiters. You don't want to lose... Oh. You don't want to be losing that many units, DragOn. Even if you're up in supply, even if you do have a good amount of bases, you do not wish to lose that many units. Look at that choke. It's actually funneling all the Dragoons down here. And I don't know why DragOn isn't trying to change his strategy. He could definitely get a good army and recall. He could definitely get a good army and recall over top of here, or even stasis this before a few times and then get through it. Seems like now he's going to try to intercept reinforcements, which is a much better idea, because most of the units from this base were actually transferred to defend at the corner location. So definitely there is a possibility to keep up, switch, kind of separating both armies. Oh, that's a good move. That's so far a pretty good move, but you don't want to be losing the Arbiter. Yeah, okay. So once this is breached, if this base falls, then the Terran is going to have a lot of problems to try to do something about this. Flisk is actually coming back from the corner position and trying to sandwich. Oh, very good EMP. Oh, was that an EMP? I thought I swear I saw an EMP. And at the same time, this is then cleaned up by Flisk. But DragOn is still up in supply. He is still 30-ish up. Yeah, about 30 up in supply. That being said, these bases, like Natural gone, Main gone, this one is also pretty low. So there's only 2 bases with a good amount of money. And if Flisk manages to take this base, and yeah, this one is dry pretty much. So it's going to go down to the effectiveness of... Oh. That's an expensive loss. 3 High Templars there. They wouldn't probably do that much damage since there's just a few High SCVs. But it was important. Yep, no, doesn't get the stasis. And a big attack coming down. Oh, good position by the Terran, good position. Both areas, separating both armies to go to different areas. Zealots go down. Yeah, you should pull back with the Dragoons. You never want to... Yeah, you want to pull back with the Dragoons. You never want to attack with the Dragoons against without Zealot support. So maybe DragOn is starting to play like that, because he was really suiciding a lot of units before. And although sometimes you can actually do that when you have a massive supply lead, maybe DragOn overestimated his supply lead more than once. And now he is paying with it. He's paying for it in a much harder game than he probably anticipated. You can see that even the Terran right now has the chance to defend. Actually, this is completely undefended, and the units are far away. So yeah, the units have to go there real fast if they want to be able to defend this position, because... Oh, scan goes down, so probably gonna try to EMP the Arbiter. Doesn't have the energy. No energy, no energy. Yeah, lift off, and the SCV is gonna... Oh, the SCVs are going to try to block for the army. That's a smart move. That's a smart move. Yeah, that's a pretty smart move. As you can see, that's actually working quite well. We see The Zealots aren't getting that close yet. Oh, now they are. Well, it was still a nice try, but I think this base is going to be problematic now to keep alive. There's still some units, some tanks here, and not that many Dragoons. Oh, okay, now they can, now they can. Now they can get close. Ooh. Wow, this is a pretty intense game, guys. Really intense. DragOn is really starting to feel the heat. I think he realizes that there's not that much money left in the map, and since he is not making that much progress against these bases, he's probably starting to think, how the hell am I ever gonna break this if I can't do it normally? Now DT, 1 kill, probably an SV, so probably that was denied. Let's count. 1, 2, 3 arbiters, but only 2 in here. And oh, it's gonna go for this base. Oh no. Oh wow, that's bad. Oh, well, okay, I take that back. That was a good storm, but yeah, you're gonna funnel your entire army through this area. I think this might actually lose DragOn the game because he's trying to fight this army. He should definitely not fight this. He should try to kill this with his army and then run out of there. Oh my bye. So much carnage. It's still actually up in supply. DragOn has been keeping up with his macro like a boss. But he's really donating a lot of money. I think at the end of the game, I'm actually gonna check for a kill count to see how inefficient DragOn has been in this game, because I feel he has been pretty inefficient. Okay, so it seems like DragOn is gonna try to go around this. Oh, he's gonna intercept 4 tanks. That's always good. 5 tanks. Oh, that tank is a betrayer. He blocked his allies. I never want to do that as a tank. Now, again, up in supply, this time by 50. Well, 50, shoot. About 40 up in supply. And now we do see a storm drop. And this one will do some damage. The 27-minute storm drop. That's how you do it. But that's actually pretty good, because with one base really mining strongly and then another one relatively low, once the SCVs are killed from this area and the SCVs from this area are dead, even if you do take the bases, you're not going to have enough SCVs to actually get any money. And when that happens, it won't really matter if the base is running dry, as long as it doesn't get... Oh, that flank! Oh, and the storm drop, is it going to be storm drops? Well, that's kind of cute, but not really that important. But still, this cleans up everything. The SCVs are getting also caught in the middle. Oh, a lot of them are dying, and even some more tanks. Okay, lights out. Whew. It did take actually DragOn a long time to break this, but I gotta say that this last attack, first the storm drop, then the attack on this base, then the flank on the other side. Well, that was a really, really nice move. And I think with this, basically I don't see Flisk staying in this game for much longer. He might try to survive with this base, but it's one base against... Actually, one base against kind of none, relatively soon. There's still some minerals here, but relatively soon it's going to be no bases for DragOn. So... I still think that it's not good enough to make the difference on the supply. I still think the supply is too big of a difference to survive that. But we'll see, we'll see. Okay, so we do see a... Yeah, defensive matrix on the tank. And let's see these units. Oh, that's... No. That was a cute move, but it's not gonna be enough. It's not gonna be enough, and Flisk, by losing this base, yeah, he's definitely gonna exit after this. And I have to say, I'm not sure if this game took so long because DragOn was too wasteful, or because Flisk was not ever attacking except like one time when he did a push. Is Flisk really gonna try to play this with 25 supply? Yeah, Flisk is that guy. Okay, so we definitely have the fantasy GG timing. Nope. You can see, guys, now. Okay, so this basically is saying, yeah, you really want to do this? Okay, I am going to be storming you. Oh, is this going to be a recall? Should be a recall. No. No. The Arbiter. Oof. That was close. I mean, you could definitely recall like this entire force down here and basically clean this up, right? He does have enough energy for it, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what DragOn is waiting for. Maybe DragOn doesn't know that Flisk is so starved and has so few units. Maybe he thinks that Flisk still has some bank and more units coming up. Maybe he doesn't want to risk it. That's kind of the only reason why I see DragOn not actually being more aggressive. But it's probably not gonna last too much longer. Like 200 against 28, so it's not exactly, but really close to 10 times the population of your opponent. So quite a big difference. Quite a big difference. Okay, so this base is gonna go dry. And well, what now then? I mean, there's like pretty much no units in production for Flisk. That's 2 tanks. DragOn basically would like to take this base, I'm assuming, if he really wants. I mean, I guess. I guess you could say that you can still take this base. No, actually, DragOn is going to take the corner. Okay. Well, why not? I mean, there isn't much more to see, guys. This is a. I guess you could put like 5 or 10 depots in here. You could try to EMP the Arbiter and hold this base for as long as you can. But even if that's the case, there's not enough minerals here to make the difference for the army, not to mention the other bases that are still kind of around here. So Flisk doesn't have actually a way to win this game. And he should probably know this. I mean, he should really know that by now. Well, then let's relax a little bit and look down here. Okay, was that? Yep, an EMP did land. And we see a command center being landed so that the units can't come up the ramp. Is it? Yeah. So... okay. You know, if DragOn actually suicides his entire army in here, which he probably won't, but let's say he does, I think even then it won't matter. Okay, so the army is in the main. The main is going to be destroyed, and Flisk will GG. Okay! And DragOn is still playing. Alright, pretty decent. Nice game. That was a nice game. That was a nice game. So I'm going to check real fast for the points. I want to actually see how wasteful they were. Not that bad. Okay, so not that crazy. Not that crazy. Kind of equal. Fine. Alright, let's get ourselves another game.